Good afternoon. I'm KHU11 Meteorologist Chris Ramirez. We are under a weather impact alert from now at least until 1 a.m. all thanks to a cold front that is going to be moving closer to southeast Texas and bring the chance for some storms. And we can't rule out a possibility of some severe storms with this as this cold front moves through the Houston area. So now through 1 a.m. is going to be the timing of those stormy conditions, and we cannot rule out possible hail, gusty winds, and brief tornado with it as we go throughout this afternoon. I think for the most part that most of this storm activity is going to be well to the north of Houston, or just north of Houston rather, where you see the yellow colors. That's the slight risk for severe storms. That includes Spring, the Woodlands, Tomball areas around Conroe, Huntsville, Livingston, Cleveland. Storm Prediction Center is giving portions of Houston under a marginal risk. That's a 1 out of 5, which means that we cannot rule out one of these stronger storms making it into our area during the overnight hours between maybe around midnight to 1 a.m. there. But looking at our current situation in terms of radar, we are starting to see some downpours moving in closer towards western Harris County. There is no lightning with these downpours, so that really is showing that these are not strong. There was some brief lightning just in and around the Katy area about a few minutes ago, but we're keeping an eye on these the potential for some of these downpours to become a little bit strong and pack a bit of a punch as we head into the evening. And so the cold front rather that we're really tracking is well to the west of us. This is actually just to the west of the Austin area. You're able to see some of those showers and storms moving through the Dallas area. And right now we're not looking at any severe storms across Texas at the current moment. However, that could change once that front moves closer towards the Gulf and moving in closer towards the Houston area. And this is what we're looking at in terms of our future track. This is timing it all out as we go into this evening. And so we're going to continue to have these downpours that are going to start racing through town at least between now and through much of the evening, at least through 5 to 6 p.m. So be on the lookout of that. If you are making your commute home, that we could see some wet roadways and some ponding on roadways with it as we go into later this afternoon. And then once we get closer towards 11, 12 o'clock, that's when we're expecting to see that frontal boundary make its way into the Houston area. So I'm going to back this up just a little bit here as we look at around 11:30 and 12 a.m. That's when we will see the possibility for some of these isolated storms to move through Houston going into the overnight hours. And then by between, I believe, 12 and 1 is when that front in the storms will be approaching the coastal areas from Freeport to Galveston, even in and around the Liberty area. And then behind it, we will start seeing those breezy conditions start filtering on in, and as well as those temperatures starting to drop as we go into tomorrow morning. So we're going to go from the 60s and 70s from what we've been experiencing to temperatures falling into the upper 50s, at least by 8:30 tomorrow morning. And then temps will also be falling through the morning into the lower 50s as we get closer towards 10:30 to 11 a.m. So temps are going to start dropping once this front moves through, and it's also going to bring some breezy conditions for those folks that are running that 5K race tomorrow as we kick off the Houston Marathon festivities happening this weekend. So temps are going to be a little bit cooler for Sunday morning, dropping into the 40s and 50s, but we are expecting those gusts up to 25 to 30 miles an hour as we head into tomorrow morning for those of you running into downtown and around the downtown Houston area. Just keep in mind that even though you see these close to 30 mile an hour wind gusts, we could see some higher wind speeds in between those buildings, especially out in downtown. So be on the lookout for that if you are heading out to downtown for tomorrow for the 5K race. So just kind of sum this all up, we are going to be under that weather impact alert and from now until 1 a.m. And that's because we will see the arrival of these storms, these downpours that could start becoming a bit strong as this cold front starts edging closer towards southeast Texas. And so that's why we're going to be under that weather impact alert through 1 a.m. Strong to severe storms possible, and we cannot rule out some hail and gusty winds with it, with maybe a brief tornado. We did see a couple of storms earlier this afternoon that did have a little bit of a strong risk with it, and so it's just as a precaution that we are keeping you up to date in terms of keeping that weather impact alert in place at least from now until 1 a.m. So evening severe threats. This is from the Storm Prediction Center. They are including the northern portions of our area under a slight risk for severe weather. That does include Montgomery County, portions of Grimes County, as well as Waller County, Huntsville, Livingston, Cleveland, Tomball, Magnolia. Those are going to have that more of a severe risk for those stronger storms once this cold front does move through later on this evening. And we're starting to see some of these downpours moving in from the south that are not strong, but we're seeing a bit of lightning with it. And once we start seeing that lightning, that really does show that the storms are strengthening. We had a little bit of lightning in and around the Katy area just about a few minutes ago, but if you are moving in or driving around the 290 area in Cypress, you're going to start seeing some moderate to heavy rainfall moving into that region within the next few minutes, as well as portions of the North Grand Parkway north of Kingwood, going into Roman Forest right now. So these are moving northward, and we could start seeing these storms tap into a little bit more unstable air as they move into our northern areas. And so that's where we could see more of that stronger storm risk, especially for Montgomery County, as these downpours continue to move northward. And so as we look closer towards the north here, you are able to see some of these storms that are, these downpours that are moving along I-35 in the Waco area. These are not strong, but just kind of showing you that we could start seeing more of this combining of these two air masses as that cold front does continue to move southward within the next few hours. And so for the most part, no severe storms right now, but we could see more of these downpours cause some nuisance issues for those folks that are traveling and commuting home later this afternoon. And that's what we're expecting to see this at least until now, until 5 to 6 p.m. For us here across the Houston area as those downpours are moving northward. So definitely keep that in mind, that we will see a little bit of more of activity later on this today. I know we're not seeing much of rain right now, but just also keep in mind that we will see that front continue moving southward and will bring the possibility for some of those storms to become strong, more likely between midnight and 1 a.m. for us here across the Houston area. And then as we get closer towards 1:30, that's where we very well could see these storms start pushing off the coast as that cold front continues pushing offshore, eventually bringing in some colder and more chilly conditions for us as we head into marathon weekend. So looking at our official forecast of what we're expecting to see this weekend, for those folks running the We Are Houston 5K race on Saturday, we're going to see breezy conditions, winds out of the north between 15 and 20 miles an hour, gusting up to 25 miles an hour. I think we could see gusts up to 30 miles an hour, especially out in downtown Houston. Temps are going to start off in the upper 50s and then fall into the mid 50s by 9 a.m., eventually getting up to 56 degrees. So chilly conditions are going to filter in behind this. And then great conditions for Houston Marathon Day, especially as we go into Sunday. We are expecting partly cloudy skies, and we will see chilly temperatures to start off our morning, but we're not going to see the wind speeds for Sunday. We're just going to be mostly chilly, and with that cloud cover, and eventually for those folks that are running between the hours of 10 and noon, we'll see temperatures in the 50s, which is ideal for running conditions, especially as we head into the start of our afternoon heading into Sunday. So just to kind of show you for our 7-day forecast, we are expecting the next 7 days to be a little bit cooler than what we've experienced. We're going to have a drastic temperature change for us here in the Houston area as we head into the next 24 hours. We're quite warm today, but this cold front bringing in a surge of colder temps and chilly weather back in the forecast for this weekend, especially if you are heading out and about. Highs are going to be in the 50s. We will be a bit warmer for Sunday as we get up to 62 degrees. However, those lows are going to drop into the 40s. We're not expecting much in the terms of rain chances through much of next week, but we're going to have a more of a seasonal, normal outlook in terms of our week next week. This is the temperatures that we're supposed to be seeing for us here in Houston for the winter season during this time of year, and that's where we're going to get not really expecting to see more of those 80-degree days, especially as we go into the next 7 days. So Thursday, Friday, getting up to 70 degrees, but you're going to need those jackets heading out the door, at least during those overnight and morning hours, going this point forward, starting tomorrow morning with the arrival of this cold front. Just to kind of sum this up, we are going to be under that weather impact alert from now until 1 a.m. with the possibility of a few strong isolated storms that could make their way into the Houston area. And so definitely keep that in mind, that there is going to be a threat for possible hail, maybe some gusty winds with it as they continue to moving into southeast Texas and as this front continues closer into our area. So as we look closer at what we're expecting to see in terms of our temperatures here across Texas, most likely not expecting this front to really be well into central Texas as of now. Now you're starting to see that moving into the panhandle right now. We're starting to see a little bit of a slower movement with this frontal system as we go into the next couple of hours, but 34 in Amarillo, just now entering the Texas Panhandle, and we will start seeing that surge of cooler temperatures moving through Texas and sweeping through the Lone Star State, at least within the next 12 to 24 hours. And that system, that cold front, is going to be responsible for bringing us our fair share of storm activity as we head into the overnight hours. And so just keep in mind, have at least 2 or more ways to receive those weather alerts as we progress through the afternoon and the overnight hours. And definitely stay safe out there, as well as watch out for that rain as you head home from work or school later on this afternoon, because we could start seeing these downpours moving through town, at least from this point forward. Have a good rest of your day. And as always, we are keeping you up to date on the KHU 11 app, as well as on KHU.com. Make sure to tune in later on this afternoon at 4 p.m. for the KHU 11 news and weather headlines.